Hey, it's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a score, and and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash, what do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, juke ball.
This is TBI 3 balls in, episode number 4. It is Logan Davo and your host PJs. Here we are, everybody. We're ready to get at it. League week number 1 is in the now rearview mirror as we move forward into the Jew Ball season. This is the podcast we all know and love. Boys, we are ready now to talk about yesterday, which was the first Sunday of the new leagues. What do we think? Success or failure? League week number 1.
I'm a little bit on the fence about this league week because that's just what I have to be.
Stop the presses. Hold up. Wait. It's the first time all year Dave was on the fence. Mark it down.
Listen, now that you guys can hear me again, I have to be back on the fence because I can't just be like giving my real opinions. I think this league had its pros and its cons and its ups and its downs, but being in a limbo league year where we're too big for 4 teams, but we're not big enough for more teams, I think there's going to be growing pains. And I think it's going to turn into something really, really great, whether it be this season or next season. But I think leagues is really starting to take off on itself, even more so than the last 2 years by leaps and bounds. So let's see what happens.
All right, Logan, hit us up.
This is a success. This is a great week. What are you talking about? We had 2 really good games. We've got, obviously not an outcome I would have liked, but like 2 really good games. We've got 4 really good teams. Not everyone got to play. All right, that happens. But like we said, leagues are a privilege, not a right. Like we had a hell of a week. Like ballpark, no real arguments. Like come on, like this was a good week. Let's call it what it was. We had a live broadcast of the first game. Like this was a good week. I'm not gonna let either of you guys put me in a bad mood about it. Even though we lost, I'm not gonna let you put me in a bad mood about it. Like this was a great week for Jew Ball.
Listen, league week number 1 was all about familiarity. You had familiarity on the side of the Birds of Prey playing without, obviously without Prager and playing with Gronk. Gronk had familiarity with his crony boys, the team cronies, also the cronies that he brought into Jew Ball themselves. Those, and he'd dump off to Solo, hitting Goldberg, hitting Tabak, and then also finding some new guys in there. So you had familiarity. And then, of course, Lionhearts brings back Zada and Irv, having that familiarity right there. So I think you have Beast as well. So I think the fact that yesterday was about familiarity. Teams that had played together the previous seasons played better, and the teams that were kind of new with each other or getting to know each other better had some growing pains. But I think, Logan, like you just said it, live stream was great. Getting that out there, doing that for the first time was amazing. It would have been great if we had both games live streamed. Obviously, that would have been amazing to have both, but it's just not always practical. And then, of course, just like you said, the competition yesterday was there. And this is what I think Jordan's been pushing for. So it's a success. League week number 1 was a success. I'm happy for everybody out there. And we got a lot to dive into. So let's recap. Yeah, please.
Before we just jump in, one real quick. First off, big thank you for live casting that first game. I know as someone who was not at the game and was able to watch it, really appreciated it. One small critique. I don't know if anyone agrees with me or not, but I do not like a live feed of the huddles. I think that's like too personal for me. That's something that the teams work on. And I don't think anyone's on the sideline real time listening, but for future weeks, like if there's plays that are working for one team versus the other, and we want to keep those just to us out of, I don't think the camera belongs there, but overall I'd give it an A-. Thank you so much for doing it. It was very enjoyable. Again, even being on the losing side, it was enjoyable to watch, and it made my Sunday morning. So thank you for that.
Yeah, something I figured out is that I can actually zoom in better. Something I didn't realize until about 90% of the game was over. I realized I could zoom in to get better, but then you also have to zoom out. So there's a lot of kinks that went in there. My hope is that I'm not announcing a live streaming games that often, that I'm actually playing in the game. So, but of course it was my pleasure to do so. Anything to contribute to Jew Ball. But let's get into game number 1, which was the feature of the draft night winners versus the Birds of Prey, which featured a team of a combination of league championship winners season 1 and league championship winners season 2. versus Fight Club, no more, called them the Top Guns. And they are a team featured with a lot of high draft picks. When you think of Jack, Munch, Singer, Mighty, you think about those names, those are all players who've been first round and second round draft picks, and they were all together in the same team, mixed in with Dobbs, Salem, Jordan, and of course you can't forget about Davo. Sorry, you weren't there. Sorry, and I had to do it. I'm sorry, buddy. I love you, but you mixed in that team.
It's okay. I didn't lose the league game yet, so
you mixed in that team. And there was a lot of excitement going through that game with the team that they had out there. And, they didn't get it done. I think Fight said it best after the game. They lost 27. I'm sorry, they lost 20. I'm forgetting the score. 27-13, they lost. Late touchdown, obviously, put Bop ahead, to 27 points. But they lost, which was a really hard-nosed game. Jordan made some mistakes in the recap, but Gronk and Fight were really going neck and neck for the first hour of that game. It was a close game. A lot of fourth down. A lot of teams going for it on fourth down. It seems like they're learning from the NFL. Teams are willing to go for it on fourth down, even in their own territory, which is pretty crazy. And some successes, some failures with those fourth downs. I think what the game came down to was Solo and Cut were as good as advertised, and Munch and the combination of Salem and Dobbs struggled. So. Again, I wouldn't worry. I think it's one game. There's a lot of mouths that Fight has to feed. That was something that we questioned. Whether he can mix the ball around to everybody. It's hard to know, but I think at the end of the day, the line play was huge. That had a huge impact on what happened. And then of course, Gronk is so good at mixing the ball around to everybody. Tabak had what was probably one of the best games I think I've ever seen Tabak have. He scored a touchdown. MK. Matched up on Fight side. They utilized that side. MK had two big plays over there. And what people don't realize that Gronk left the game at 9:07. This was designed. This was known ahead of time. Gronk was only staying to about 9 to 9:15. He had to leave. MK was going to take over quarterback. And MK, 2 drives, not too shabby. He did get 4 chances to the 1 yard line and utilized Nick Goldberg for a touchdown. So, and of course, to give a lot of credit to Birds of Prey, they did shut down Top Guns on 2 defensive drives without Gronk and without Prey at safety. So it shows you the buildup, the makeup of the Birds of Prey, and the fact they battled hard. But again, this was a game that was back and forth. It was never one-sided. I think there's a lot of chirping. There's a lot of Bop, I think, feeling like they were, I don't know why Bop felt the way that they did, that they felt discredited or dissed by Jordan. I think, listen, Top Guns felt really good after draft night, a lot of talent. But again, we see this all the time. Talented teams struggle off the beginning of the seasons. They need time to get going. I wouldn't worry about Top Guns too much, but I think that it's a reality check, right? Just because you're drafted high doesn't mean you're the best team at the end of the year. But again, one game is just one game. All right, guys, what were your thoughts on the game?
I'll jump in. So the number one rule of Top Guns is you don't talk about Top Guns. So we're not going to get into what's wrong with Fight. We're not going to talk about one team played with more heart. It's pretty simple. Birds of Prey came out, they had a better game. Whether it was game plan, whether it was strategy, whether it's hard, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. They outplayed us. They deserved to win that game. Those guys played well. To the victor goes the spoils, so they get bragging rights. But we're guaranteed a second game against them this season, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see them in the playoffs. So we'll be coming for them. We'll be gunning for them. But, for now, it's congrats. They're 1-0 against us. We're 0-1. They played it. Gronk played a great game. Like, if you look at the line, 3 different guys caught touchdowns. That's a real classic Gronk type game. Again, I wasn't there, so it was hard for me to get a real feel of it. But, Gronk was spreading the ball out to anyone who was open. It didn't matter who it was. Gronk was doing Gronk things. So, again, congrats to them. Not much I can say about it. It sucks that we lost, but I guarantee we will be giving a better effort the next time we play Birds of Prey, and I'm excited to see what that outcome comes with.
Listen, like Logan said, we can't talk about Fight Club. I mean, Top Gun. But I will say this: when Kevin Durant joined the Golden State Warriors, everybody's criticism was, "Oh, how are they going to have enough basketballs on the team for everybody?" Because you have all these big top guys who make huge plays. Top Gun's gonna be okay. Listen, we're coming for the championship. We're gonna send to our groove a little bit. That's all I gotta say. But talk now while you can, because rematches are coming.
I mean, look, Cronies blew a lead in the first game of the season last year and ended up tying Fight Club, right? So it happens.
Agreed, 100%. One game means something, but doesn't mean everything, right? So there definitely will be a matchup and rematch, and hopefully at that point, Prey is the starting quarterback. That would be interesting to see. Do they play better with Prey, or do they play not as well with Prey? Who knows? Again, it's gonna be a different game, and Top Guns at that point will have 3 games played already with each other. So getting to know what the best matchup is going to be. All right, boys. None of us were privy to game number 2, so I figured it makes sense to bring in the winning quarterback from game number 2, because we like him as a friend of the show, and he's someone we like. Also, well, we don't like him.
I said stop lying, man, in front of a show. Yeah, and you hate this guy.
I like this guy a lot. He's of course, he comes here and he's got a lot to share with us. He is, again, he's joining us. Give us 1 second. And of course, it's good to have Yaron. Yaron's coming on. It's good to have Yaron here. He'll also give us some insight in some of the backgrounds of the league this year, because I think that there is a lot of question marks about why certain decisions were made. And here he is, the winning quarterback of the Lionhearts. Didn't even clean his jersey. He's still wearing the one from yesterday. That's how happy he is. Yaron, welcome to TBI.
Oh, he's on mute. Of course
Yeah,
he is.
yeah, he is. There he is.
There we are. I said I haven't even watched it.
Yaron,
He hasn't taken it off.
Yaron, we're going to do this right now. Logan and Davo have no clue what we're about to both break right now. Some breaking news for Jubal. This is for everybody. Yaron, I'm going to give you the honors of sharing it, but a TBI exclusive. Something is changing for leagues going forward, and that is?
Are you talking about we're going to 9 players instead of 8? Is that what we're talking about?
It is finally agreed upon. The captains and the commissioner have finally agreed that we're going to 9 players. Let's just jump into that for a second, because I think it's important.
Wait, does that mean that Top Guns can now bring one more guy who's not named Davo?
Exactly. That is the plan. Bert was supposed to be on standby yesterday, not Davo.
That's what we needed, yeah.
And Bosch also.
Anyway, sorry, Yaron, what were you saying?
I'm just I was really sad actually, looking over at the sideline. I tell you that it's not easy for us. I saw Davo, I saw PJ's over there, I saw E. It's not an easy situation. I know that it's a byproduct of our quarterback situation. Not only the fact that our league is super stacked right now. It's overstacked because we've got an abundance of, the highest quality players and a fewer amount of teams. But, unfortunately, there are just too many players and not enough quarterbacks. And hopefully this is a situation that gets resolved. But maybe this amendment to the prior rule is going to be a bit more inclusive too. It's not easy seeing people not play, though, at least from my perspective.
Yaron, I love to disagree with you. Listen, I'm on the fence here like Davo on this rule, and I'll tell you why.
Jesus
I'll
Christ,
tell you why.
pick a side.
All right, well,
Just bring everybody.
Here's why.
Including Davo.
Here's why.
You disagree that I feel bad that I saw you on the sideline?
I wasn't planning on playing. I'm
Okay.
on. Yeah. So for me, I came legitimately just to.
PJs, with you, it's always hard to tell when you're in Shabbos clothes. We're not sure. Are you playing? You're not playing. So, like, whatever wardrobe you're wearing
True. It's true. It's
could
a
be
fair point.
gameplay wardrobe.
It's a fair point. But listen, I do want to get into this rule.
He was actually wearing just a long overcoat. It was a little creepy.
The 9-player rule, my personal opinion, again, it's just one person, is the 9th player should be an alternate player in the game if someone gets hurt or has to leave, but they should not be allowed to be utilized in the game throughout. What I mean is, because substituting 9 players in a game can get really confusing and really difficult, and it's extra pressure on the team to have to play someone when you have a hot hand in there and you have to switch people out. I think it gets confusing.
Why do you have to switch anyone out? We're all adults.
Yeah, like you don't have to switch. Let the court, like, there's a captain.
That's why,
Final say. That's it.
That's why the 9th player should be there, because Red Sunday showed us you could never have enough players. The 9th player should be there in emergency situations.
So then why isn't the whole team there just in case emergency situations?
I would say in that situation, like yesterday, if there was a point where they could have brought you in the game.
PJs,
I think that would be okay.
PJs, I totally disagree.
That's
Like,
fine.
league weeks are not a right; they're a privilege. If the captain taps you on the shoulder, if it's for one player, if it's for every play, that's what's going to happen. It's the captain's call. No one's going to be whining and moaning. We're like, this is a league team. This is not a participation trophy team. I think 9 is great. I thought 8 was too little, and I think 9's like a pretty good fix. Also, you have to remember, like, what do we have, 12 or 13? You're not going to get everyone available every week. So, like, you may not be able to bring more than 9 because you only have 9 available. I think 9's a good answer. It solves a lot of the problems. I think it's a good job. And look, the fact that Jubal is willing to evolve and fix itself real time, I think is huge. So well done, Captain. Well done, Commissioner.
All right, you're on. They don't agree with me. It's fine. Let's jump into your game yesterday. We were not there. We were not privy to some of the details. We from what we heard, this was classic. Well, not classic. This was, I guess, abnormal, your own, because you were on fire yesterday. Let's talk about yesterday's game. Share with us some of the insights of the game yesterday.
Let me tell you, I know that the draft is one of those things that you analyze, and a player who's an 8th rounder can go in the 4th round, and one in the 4th round can go in the 8th round. And if you did it over again, you probably would get a completely different product too. So I think a lot went into the Lionhearts pre-draft and after draft day as well, just in terms of analysis of whether it were the right picks or not. But our team was really made up of a lot of people who not only was I familiar with, but that just are coming in this season with a different kind of fire underneath them, something to prove, or maybe even a chip on their shoulder. And our chat was so intense that I actually felt like my phone might even explode. Just how much our guys were really looking forward to finally getting on the field and finally playing. So we really wanted to be organized. We wanted to come in fired up, and fortunately, everyone really came to play yesterday. Everything clicked together really well. We played against a tremendously good team, but I'm fortunate that I had guys that bought into our system. We played as a unit, and I think it reflected itself on the field. So it made my job a hell of a lot easier.
So I was there for part of the game, but again, I was forgotten. Yaron, you looked great. I hate to say it, but you really did. I'm very impressed with the Lionhearts themselves. Storm had a great game. Ivry played very well. He didn't stack up the box sheet, but he was there. He was making great plays. The interesting thing that I saw was you using 2 guys who were lesser known in Jubal, meaning not that they're not known, but how they played. Your utilization of DK was tremendous, I think. I don't think anyone saw what you did with them coming in. I don't think anyone saw that coming, and I thought that was very smart of you. And Sting, I want to talk about Sting for a second. I know Jordan shot him out in the recap. He got the Jubal, but this is a guy that, coming from 193, was one of these top guys that everyone used to talk about. Came to Jubal, was not that. It wasn't that he was a bad, but I'm saying it wasn't that he was a bad player. He just didn't play well. Now he's starting to come back into his own. Do you think that Sting is one of those guys that can be a real game changer? Like you said, some might have taken him in the 8th, some might have taken him in the 4th. These guys can be interchangeable, but here's a guy that people thought that you took higher that could be a real game changer. Is this something that you saw coming? Is this something that you guys planned beforehand?
Well, first of all, you sound really good on your microphone. I don't know what you did, but you took off Mickey Mouse mode. So that's really good. I understood your question really well. The thing with Sting is health. When he came into 193, the guy was a stud. And I think him and I gelled right away. And he became my number 1 receiver of my team.
Because he's tall.
I'm sorry?
Because he's tall.
It's not because he's tall. By the way, I used Storm a lot yesterday, and he is not the tallest player on my team too. So
yeah, by the way, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's a hell of a game.
He played it, but he also caught some big passes. He moved the chains. He was everywhere that he needed to be, and his blocks were tremendous in the middle of the field. But with Sting, he's just a fantastic route runner. He really studies the game. he didn't get a chance to display everything that he could have been 2 seasons ago because he came in basically hobbled on one leg and one arm. And I've seen him when he's healthy. And the secret to his success this season is if he can stay healthy. He's rehabbed. He's been through 2 surgeries, and he's a young guy too. So I hope for him, longevity, a good season, a healthy season. And if he's in there with us offensively and defensively, he is an asset. I think getting him in the 5th round, I think I got him in the 5th round this year, 4th round or 5th round, total steal, but it's because he's gone under the radar too. And he's going to be a main part of our puzzle.
Also, just off the field on the chat, I mean, he's a guy who's avid. He's into it. There are some guys who are in the chat in the league, and they're they don't chat much, but when Sting does, he's been chatting more often because he's back into it. It must have been tough for him last year. Every now and then we get a little message from him here or there about his updates, but this is the best version of Sting we've ever seen in Jew Ball.
It must have been really tough for him because even when he was rehabbing, even when he was out, he would private message me too. He would give me updates on his recovery. He would tell me like how much he's looking forward to getting back. He had a lot of unfinished business, and it's great to see. This is one of the beauties of Jew Ball. I think it's life transforming. When you join in this and you buy into it, it's something that you look forward to. It's more than just a skilled player who wants to play in a group. It's a brotherhood. And I think a lot of people have really been taken to that and inspired by it. And it's nice to see that he was aching so much to get back. And I think that inspired a lot of his rehab as well. So I'm so proud of him, and I'm really happy that he's doing well right now.
All right. What was your impression of the team you went against? Roll Tide. Obviously, they're missing legs, which had an impact on their rush on the line. Miles tough to legs. We've had now 3 babies. Well, actually 4 babies. You think about it in the last month. Twins. Steve-O had a baby, and now Legs had a baby.
I thought you made it. I thought you were saying that Legs had 3 babies. I was like, wait,
no. 4. There's now 4
that he knows of.
4
sounds like sounds like a lot of you were partying on Valentine's Day. That's what I heard.
Basically. But let's get into this here. Roll Tide, Dax, a rookie quarterback, playing rookies in, rookie Dax, rookie open, rookie stats. All those stats didn't play, but a rookie in stats. And there's a lot of rookies on Roll Tide.
Rookie rook.
Non-rookie rook.
And then you have second-year players. No, then you have second-year players like Rook and Waldo.
And Ernie.
And
Ernie as well.
Forgotten again.
And then of course you got
Ernie is Salem 2.0.
And by the way, and you got Whiskey coming back from injury who stepped in. Tell me something. Roll Tide. Are they a team that we should fear, or are they a team that's going to be finesse and come up short like they did yesterday?
Let me say this. And Jordan's recap really hit it out the park today. We cannot be delusional about our win yesterday. First of all, week 1, a lot of teams, not only Roll Tide, but every team is figuring itself out. And it's going to take many weeks in order to really try to understand how to gel with each other. We played a banged up, not full strength Roll Tide, and basically played a perfect offensive game and barely won. There's a lot of work for us to do, and I think it just shows how good Roll Tide is. I laid it on strong when I tried to recruit Dax because I thought that he would be an excellent fit for the league, but I kind of wanted to press. Maybe one day those transcripts are going to be released, but I wanted to press and just make sure that he understood what he was in for, and I think he gets it a little bit more. The guy's an excellent player. He's got players who fit into his system really well. I think once they get back to full strength with stats and with legs especially, that team is so freaking dangerous. But offensively, you blink your eyes and they could score a touchdown, 85-yard, 90-yard touchdown like nothing, like they did to us, and they crept back into the game. So they're going to be competing with everyone. They're incredibly tough to stop, because their offense is just so high-powered and so well-timed. And this is a team also that's basically put together this team for Croton. And the quote I heard was that their Croton team is there to practice so that they're going to be ready for Jew Ball. And I love to hear that. So dangerous, absolutely yes. I think anybody can win because it's just so stacked, but they are great.
Listen, Scoot looks like the real deal. I kind of said like, maybe his defense is a little sus, but man, that kid can play offense like nobody's business.
Yeah, a part of our strategy was we could not play a finesse game with them. I think we came out a little bit too hot-headed. I know that Morty got hurt. I know he was banged up coming in also, and that was never our intention to. But we needed to play a physical game against them, because you play a finesse game against Roll Tide with Zin. I don't know who Scoot is, but with Zin and with Dax, you're going to get killed. And that's basically what we said to begin with. So we were physical. We do have a little bit more experience. Here we go. We got an ABBA situation coming up.
There we go. There we go. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Sorry for the interruption. So where was I? Yeah, if you play a finesse game against them, you're gonna get just run over by them. They're just they'll be able to run. And Zin was unstoppable yesterday too. They connect so well. So I think that they're gonna set some records this season. I said it on the chat yesterday.
Okay. Yaron, one final question for you. Thinking now future. Okay. We made a lot of changes to the leagues this year. Obviously, changes I think we all agree that are for the better. Obviously, the breaking news tonight. I think honestly, what we need is 6 teams, right? So, do you think maybe instead of going for
why can't we have 5?
Why can't we have 8?
Yeah, because five doesn't make sense. Let's at least start with 6, right? If you get 6 teams, do you think maybe
we don't have enough for 5?
We'll start with 5.
Can you let me finish my question? Instead of trying to recruit Croton quarterbacks, why don't you try to go and get maybe Tom Brady from the Buccaneers? Because it seems like he never wants to retire, but the Bucs didn't want him out. So
that's the question you didn't want me to interrupt.
Yeah, I didn't want you to interrupt that. Pitching
stole your mic.
Pitching quarterbacks from outside of Croton and Jubal. No, in all seriousness, though. Obviously, I know it's a push for you to get 6 teams next year, 5 or 6 teams next year. It's going to be the push. But to sort of go through this season, he got Gronk out there. Gronk played really well for Bop yesterday. Gronk's available. You know, if Gronk is around more often, we don't know. His status is going to be up and down. I'm not sure what his status is going to be. But to have a quarterback out there like that is almost like it hurts. It hurts to know you got the talent out there. That is someone who hopefully we can, sort of solidify for next season. So
yeah, I think we have a lot of options. I think that, obviously Gronk has his personal stuff that he's got to work out, but he's welcomed back with open arms by us. I think that he fits in extremely well. And I hope that he's able to sort that out and play with us next year. Obviously he's a top quarterback if he plays. And we also have Perla. And I know that people are going to get to learn about him. We tried to introduce him.
Is
I know
he
that
the guy who kind of looks like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball?
I guess a little bit. He looks like what's his name?
Vince Vaughn.
Baker.
One second, I go Vince Vaughn from Dodgeball, not Ben.
No, he's got like that mustache thing, like no one makes me bleed my own blood. Like that.
Baker
Is that who he is?
But he I think that things just happen, and I wasn't even at that point trying to recruit, and Perla reached out, and he's a legitimate winning quarterback, and he wants to play. He came to 2 of our exhibition matches, and he was ready to fill in for Prey this week if Gronk wasn't there too. I think he's going to gain a lot of experience, and he's going to be an excellent fit with us as well. And the sky's the limit. Next year, minimum 5 quarterbacks. It's a must. We're getting to a point that the success is just going to keep growing. It's infectious, and being able to find quarterbacks is a commodity, and we have a couple of really good options on the horizon.
Yaron, I hate doing this, but I tip my hat to you. Great job putting this together. As you get off, when we get rid of you on the interview, we're going to start bashing you behind your back. But at least to your face, you did a good job. Yesterday is exactly what I think everybody was looking for. Great talent, great games, and it happened. It's got to at least make you feel good. The fact you made the right choice there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Yaron.
Yaron, thanks for joining us.
All right, guys. Looking forward to seeing you. Good night.
All right.
All right, just because the guy throws 6 touchdowns, he's still trash. All right, here we go.
He's freaking awesome. By the way, PJs, I was shaking my head no to the Gronk idea, because where I thought you were going was that we would make a 5th team for this season.
No, I tried.
That's what I was. If Gronk wants to play, he's more than welcome to play. I'd love to have him there. And I would gladly play on his team next year. I thought you were insinuating, let's make a 5th team this year. That would have been disaster. That's what I was shaking my head no to.
I tried to design that a month ago, and it didn't work out. But okay, I did actually. Yeah. after the draft. Obviously, oh no, was
It
it?
wouldn't have worked. You'd have to redo the whole draft, and we're not doing
Yeah,
that. So,
well,
I'd be down for another party.
actually, there was talk of possibly redrafting if we could have got Gronk to solidify the season. But okay,
that's the only way it would have worked. But anyway,
but that's not on. Listen,
no,
whatever.
it's not on Gronk. No, this is not a Gronk thing.
No.
We're stuck with
Listen,
four.
we
We
have
have
14.
four. We'll make
Let's
it work.
play
It's
this
fine.
season. It's going to be
All right, boys.
great.
I want to get into a few things. Extra points, okay? Introduced into leagues yesterday. Fan or not a fan? Give me a fan or not a fan. Davo, fan or not a fan?
Who cares? They make no difference. Let Yaron be happy for once in his life. The man just threw 6 touchdowns. He's feeling great. Why you gotta kick him when he's high? Who cares about the extra points? Let's just play.
Such a Davo typical on the fence.
Yeah,
Logan,
put me down as a fan. We needed it. Like we had ties. We didn't want ties. We figured out how to not have ties, or a lower
can still have
likelihood
ties.
of ties.
all right, let me play
Lower
a little.
likelihood. Lower
Let me
likelihood.
By the way,
Let me play-
both games. I mean, the
All
last
right,
game.
can we not use 1 week as an example of why it works?
No,
Can
but I'm saying both games. Obviously, I mean, fight went
It
for
had
a
no
fourth
impact.
down because for
And zero
whatever.
impact.
But the extra point, in the second game at least, the extra point was still in play to tie the game. So you could still have ties with extra points.
Can I play a scenario for you guys?
Do
Let me play a scenario for you. You ready for this?
Do it.
Okay. You go for 2-point conversions. Okay. So you have a team that's in theory up 3-0, but now they've made it 24-0. The team trailing is down in theory 3-0, but they're down 24-0 with 3 extra points, with 3 2-point conversions, right? So they're now at 24 points. The team that's losing scores a touchdown. Okay. They go for 2 and they miss it. They score another touchdown. Okay. They miss it. Score another touchdown. Okay. And they miss it. Okay. They're now down 24-18. So you would say, oh, that's great. They score another touchdown, right? Think about it. They score another touchdown. They are going to tie the game or win the game. They miss it again. But they've scored 4 touchdowns.
Dude,
Don't miss it.
stop it. Play some fucking defense.
Compared to 3 touchdowns, right? But it's
Oh
a
my
tie
God.
bowl game. But it's
Are
a
you
tie
kidding?
bowl game.
You're telling me that a team that could not stop the other team from the 4 or wherever the 2 is 3 times.
10-yard line is a 2-point conversion. I'm just
10
saying.
yard line 3 times. I couldn't stop. Get
No,
out of here. That's crazy.
No, but my point is, the point that I'm trying to make is that you scored now 4 touchdowns and you couldn't even win it. You scored more touchdowns in the game than the other team, and the best you could do is tie in that situation.
Don't miss the
No.
extra points.
But
Create plays that will work.
But you have to go for 2.
all right,
If
PJ.
the team
Okay, so
No,
the
but
other
no,
team was just
guys,
better
guys,
than you then.
I'm more than happy you to jump on me on this, but let me just finish the statement that I want to make. The team that scores first has a major advantage for going for 2 because they force the other team now to have to go for 2 as well. Now, it did not happen yesterday, right? Gronk went for 2 on, I think, the first extra point and they missed it, but Top Guns went for 1 on their first touchdown. They were up 7-0. And then it was 7-6 because they missed a conversion. Gronk was called over the line, whatever it was. But there was not much of an advantage 8-7. But if you're up 8-0 and the team then tries to compete with it because they now have to go for 2, they're forced to have to go for 2. Either do 1 extra point, but don't do 2-point conversion. I think having a 2-point. I think having a 2-point
you just
conversion
laid
is
out
just-
a good strategy for all the captains right here that are listening. Go for 2 and get it, and then the other team has to play catch up. It's that simple. Or play defense and stop them.
I agree. My point is that a team could score 4 touchdowns, miss their extra points or their 2-point conversions, and still the best they can do is tie the game to a team that only scored 3 touchdowns. Guys, it just doesn't make sense to me. The reason why extra
Don't miss your
points,
extra points.
the reason why extra points and 2-point conversions make sense in the NFL and college football and high school football is because they kick field goals. So the 3 extra points actually make sense because you can get a 3 that gets you closer and score. Here, if you're driving down the field, you're stuck. You have to score that touchdown and you got to get the conversion. Again, I'm all for making leagues better. I just think that there's going to be a team that gets messed over that should have won the game but didn't because of conversion. I know you'll say to me, "Oh, it's just a 5-yard." Listen, I spoke to somebody yesterday, privately, and they said to me they thought it was a great thing. They think that it just adds more competitiveness. If you can't score within 5 yards, that says more about you. But again, I don't think that's true. If you're going against a great defense, scoring 5 yards, you saw yesterday Bop without quarterback took them four plays to get 1 yard for a touchdown. So the fact that 5 yards is 1 play is tough. again, if you're going against a really good defensive team like Top Guns, which has a really good defense, getting extra points is not going to be simple and easy. That's my point. You guys are in favor of it. I just want to make a point against it.
PJ. So first of all, if your pure argument is let's eliminate the 2-point conversion, let's just keep the 1-point conversion, and that'll help eliminate ties, I can't really argue that. However, if you're going to stand here and tell me that a team that let the other team score 3 times from the 10-yard line with 1 play deserves to win the game, I'm going to stand here and tell you you're crazy. Like, that can't be your argument. This one absurd case. And by the way, play some freaking defense. Like, stop it. If you let a team score 3 times and they get the 2-point conversion 3 times, well, then, yeah, you should have to score 4+ touchdowns. Like, shame on you. Like, have some pride in defense. That's crazy. And that's such a, that scenario, by the way, is so specific that you're not going to set a rule for that. The number of times that scenario happens will be the same number of times that we still will tie with extra points, because sometimes it will happen. So like, that can't be the reason to make the argument. I hear what you're saying. If you think just 1 point and this way, everyone's playing from the 5, there's no strategy involved. It's literally just to help us make sure we have fewer ties. Again, not no, but fewer. Okay, I can hear that argument, and it is what it is. I don't think it's very different from what we have, but okay, I get that. But to say for the scenario of a 4-3 game where the 3-team wins because 4 can't punch it in, come on.
I think you laid out the argument very well. I think you can go either way there, Logan. I think you can either say no extra points or just stick to 1 point. I think going for 2, I think listen, I think it's a nice added element. You saw yesterday in yesterday's game with Top Guns and Birds of Prey, Gronk went for 2 and hit it, obviously, to make it 21-13. I don't think you necessarily need it. The 2-point conversion, I think it adds more drama for sure. It definitely, 10 yards out is harder. I don't know if it's necessary. All right, let's talk about intentional grounding, because that's something that got clarified yesterday in the chat. I think there's still confusion about it. I'm not really sure what Fight was arguing with Jordan about, but it's always fun to see teammates fight with each other on the chat. Here's the reality. If you're throwing the ball forward and there's no receiver around and you're trying to avoid a sack, it's intentional grounding. By the way, if you're trying to throw the ball and to a tight end who's being blocked, that's still intentional grounding. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Okay, so the real rule is not. I shouldn't call it intentional grounding. There's no throwaways in Jew ball. Now you could say, oh, but what if the guy's running down the sideline and I throw it over his head, but it's outside? We don't look at that as a throwaway. There's no throwaways, meaning you have to throw a ball that looks or somewhat is a catchable ball. If you're throwing it at the feet of your tight end, that is a complete throwaway. In Jew ball, we did away with that. I don't know how long ago, but that's always been the rule. Take the sack like a man, and that's how it goes. Now you can say, oh, it doesn't make the game better. It makes the game better. What doesn't matter. In Jay we trust, and the rule is there's no throwaway. So if you want to call it intentional grounding, you could do that, but you can't. Now if you say turn around and you throw it at the guy's back and you say, listen, I tried calling a play, we'll give it to you because you making that intention to make it look like it's not a throwaway, but to throw it away, that is not allowed in Jew ball.
Logan,
that clarifies anything.
I mean, I feel like this rule, like, I actually think we were making too much of it. Like, this is like the standard rule, right? Like, was it pass interference? Was it not? Don't make a call. Like, same thing. Like, don't, like, the quarterbacks, you know what you're doing. Like, just be freaking honest. Did you throw it away to avoid the sack? Well, then don't do that. Like, don't pretend like you threw it at some guy's feet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, there is very, like, we're going to start pointing out, oh, this guy threw it away, that guy threw it. Stop it. Like, the whole point of the game is, like, to play the game like a mensch. So, like, if you're getting sacked and you know you're getting sacked, take it like a man. And if you were actually trying to throw it, well, then we'll take your word for it. It's the same with pass interference. Don't call it, but, like, if you really felt it interfered, you're going to call it. We'll respect it. Same thing with the quarterbacks. Like, you know when you're throwing the ball away. It's not like, oh, I tried to get the tight end, I tried to hit the receiver. If you overthrow Mighty, who's running deep, you obviously had enough time to throw it deep. You weren't throwing it away. But, like, if your ball went 6 yards, like, okay, you probably were throwing it away. Like, you threw it left-handed, underhand, yeah, you were throwing it away. Stop it. It's like, there's like maybe one play in the entire season where we're like, oh, I don't know, it could go both ways. Everything else is like, yeah, we know what you were doing. Like, let's not, like, God, it's like the things that we try or think about to argue over is absurd. Like, just don't do it. And that's the end of story. It doesn't even need to be a rule. Just don't do it. It's annoying.
All right, boys, we're going to introduce something again this season that we did last year, which was really, really popular, the power ranking.
We're bringing back What Is Wrong with Prey?
No, we're bringing back the power
What's bothering
rankings.
PJs?
No, we're bringing back the power rankings.
All right.
There we go. So how does the power rankings works, gentlemen? Because we are the three-headed monster behind it. How do power rankings work, and how should a player expect or maybe be disappointed when their name is or is not on the list?
Oh, we're giving away the secret formula?
Oh, we're giving away the secret formula here.
Well, listen, as the foremost experts on everything that happens in Jubal, TBI declares who are the 10 best players currently playing in Jubal per week. So meaning, yes, you could be on it one week and not on the other week. We go through specific algorithms to calculate stats on the field play, off the field play, chat work. We calculate these, and then the computer, which has a much smarter brain than everybody, spits out the power rankings. Essentially.
All right, Logan, you want to explain that to everybody?
Guys, play hard on the field. Your play will dictate who gets on the power rankings, right? It's not as like no one ever scratches their head. Jordan had an issue, I think, like week 1, week 2. Maybe we tried to be too unique with some of our selections, but like the guys who play well are going to get up there, right? You don't need a 3-touchdown game like Scoot to get you on power rankings. You can do plenty of things to get you on power rankings, whether it's sacks, whether it's interceptions, whether it's receiving. It could even be setting good block. Like I wouldn't think about it too much. If you're on the list, congrats. If you're off the list, try harder. But just like stats, who cares? W's and W's are the most important thing. Play hard, play your game, and if you're on there, great. And if not, who cares?
I would say if you're not on there, it's motivation to be on there, obviously. And of course, if you're on there, it means that you're being celebrated by Jubal as you should be. So listen, the metric is this. We look at, how you played, how you've been playing. And if your numbers are going up crazy and people are just talking about your play, you're going to be on there. That's what it comes down to. All right, gentlemen, the league season started. Wow. Top Guns are 0-1. Bop is 1-0. Lionheart's 1-0. Roll Tide are 0-1. It's one game in. There's still 5 more games left in the season plus the playoffs. Who knows how it goes? But what are we, Davo?
Damn it, I was going to say, don't forget to spade your neuter and spade your dogs. But we are 3 balls in.
And we are finally 3 balls out. Gentlemen, have a great week. See you all next time.
Don't forget to sign up. Sign up closes Thursday, week 4. Let's go.
We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route.